A lot of men do not deserve to be in the presence of a plus size woman because they don't know how to communicate and they don't know how to love effectively. Me being a full figured woman, men do not know how to love and communicate properly with plus size women. As a plus size woman and as someone who has multiple plus size friends or full figure friends, I can definitely say that we have learned throughout the years how to communicate with not only our friend circle, but men, because we've always had to be on the back burner, or plus size women have always had to do more research or be more communicative or just do more as a full figured woman because that was what was expected from us. And as a plus size woman who has been single for about 4 years now, I can definitely say that a lot of us are single because a lot of men think that we're supposed to settle because we're full figured and they think that we're desperate. But that's not the case. A lot of us have been so content with being single and we're okay with being single. A lot of men are getting treated differently or getting disrespected from petite women. And this is no shade to my petite girls. A lot of these women are just using you all as meal tickets. But a lot of the plus size girls, we have our own. And of course, we're not going to settle for anybody, but we also know how to treat people because we've learned that a lot of men, they take advantage of us because we are more full figured and we are plus size. And I don't know if it's because you guys think that that doesn't look right or it's not aesthetically pleasing. But I must say, a lot of my plus size friends and the people that I've known, they know how to put that outfit on when they need to. And a lot of them are independent women who.
Okay, got it. First off, she turned off the comments. So for someone who claims to be very secure in who they are and wants to lecture people on basically who it is that they choose to date, she turned off the comments, which means a part of her is very insecure about how she feels about herself, because you can't be secure and say, "Oh yeah, I'm, totally secure in myself, but I don't want to hear any, negative feedback." So I don't think she's as secure as she says she is. Otherwise, I would tell her, turn on your comments. Okay, let's take a look here. Men don't deserve to be in the presence of plus size women. I don't think there is a mad banging down of the doors of wanting to be in the presence of plus size women any more than there's the banging down of the door of men wanting to date someone like me who's Vietnamese black. I think men have the right to be attracted to what they wish to be attracted to. And I think it's kind of self serving, vain, whatever, to say, oh, you know what? A guy does not have the right to be in the presence of me because of the way I look and I am so beautiful. There is nothing wrong with the guy simply saying, this isn't what I'm attracted to. I might say I'm not attracted to a plus size woman any more than he might say I'm not attracted to a Vietnamese black woman. And that's what I am, Vietnamese black. It doesn't mean that he dislikes you personally. It doesn't mean that he somehow or another is going to treat you poorly, differently, or anything else. For some reason, I think this woman wakes up. I swear, this is the type of woman that wakes up and she thinks every man is wanting to be with her, but she is so good that no guy deserves to be with her, which probably explains, like she said, why she's been single for 4 years. If all these men, so-called, she says they don't deserve to be, like they're wanting to be in her presence. I don't think, honey, they want to be in your presence. And those that do and are comfortable being in your presence, they're the ones that'll approach you for dating and stuff like that. But I'm willing to bet that perhaps not a lot of men are knocking at the door. I mean, perhaps for the type of relationship you would like. Sure, we can all find the one night stands. Anybody can do that. Okay. You can be dumb as a brick, dim as a bulb, okay, dull as a knife, and I guarantee it to you, you can find that one night stand. I don't do that. So, assuming that we're putting that type aside and those are not relationships, and she's actually looking for a relationship, I'm going to assume because of her size, she has a harder time. So instead of saying, hey, I accept my size as I am, I understand that I'm in the, maybe a more elite end. I'm trying to be nice, okay? A more elite end of the dating population. And just, statistically, there aren't going to be as many men, as many suitors wanting to date me. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't wake up every day and think that all these guys, somehow or another are trying to bang down at your door, and then you convince yourself, they don't deserve to be in my presence. They weren't asking to be in your presence to begin with. In fact, some of them were probably running in the opposite direction. I'm just keeping it real. She says, full figure plus size will use the terms that they use. Okay, I get it. I'm trying to be respectful. But remember, she's the one bringing up all this body size stuff, not me. She says the women have learned, plus size women have learned to communicate, I guess, with men, and they've learned to do it better. What do you think every other woman has had to do? And I'm sure there are plenty of men that are thinking about how to communicate with women. It's the back and forth Mars and Venus thing. It's a book from decades ago about trying to get men and women to communicate. She's not special. And being plus size does not make you special in how you try to communicate. Let's see here. She's, like I said, she's been single for 4 years. And she says that men somehow or another think that plus size women are expected to settle because of their size. Again, I think she attributes too much to her size and somehow or another thinks that these same issues don't happen to women of all sizes, all races, all religions. There are plenty of women who are smaller, average sized, whatever. I've no secret here. I'm a size 10. Okay. And you don't think I haven't met men that think I should settle. We all have. And it makes a difference. And you could say it's in the reverse too. There are women that think the guy should settle. He's like, I don't have to settle. And guess what, sweetheart? He may feel like he's settling with someone who does not necessarily take care of themselves. And again, I understand people have medical issues that they have to work on. I understand that. And I'm putting those extreme cases aside because I know people who are in those rare extreme cases. But for a lot of the parts, it's just people just don't want to get up and move. They're happier on the couch, eating their chips, watching their TV show, and convincing themselves that somehow or another all the suitors are at their door when there really is none, and telling themselves, "Oh, you know what? There's no suitor at my door because no guy is good enough for me because I'm a plus size woman."
Need for nothing and lack for nothing. They don't need you for a meal ticket. They don't need you to pay a bill because they've been paying it. And quite frankly, a lot of you men are missing out because you're scared to be with a plus size woman.
Oh, that's so full of baloney.
The American corporate work culture is just performance. That's why Black people have such a hard time fitting into these spaces because we are not born to perform. And in the ways that we do perform, it's not in our every single day lives in the way that other cultures do. And so they have no problem going to work and performing, right? Performing niceness, performing friendship, performing camaraderie. They're performing though. I don't know how to do that. We're not really raised to do that, right?
Who is we? Who is we? We were not raised to be nice. We were not raised to be cultured. We were not raised to perform. Who doesn't perform? Regardless, again, of your race, religion, body type. We all have roles throughout the day that we have to, quote unquote, perform. So when she says we, if she's talking about Black people, she better not be including me in on that because she don't speak for me.
We kind of have like keep it real mentality, do what you got to do and get out type of vibe. And so it's so hard to go along to get along because I just want to come to work and do my job. These people want to come to work and perform, right? They want to perform power. They want to perform importance. They want to perform. They perform everywhere in their lives. They're performing with their families. They're performing in their marriages. They're performing as parents. It is all just one big performance. That is all they are taught how to do. There is no depth of humanhood. There's no depth of empathy. There's no depth of connection. And that's why it's so easy for them to perform it. I don't want to perform a connection with you because I'm not really connected to you or this job. I just do it because I got to get paid and I'm going home. That's why it's so hard for us to go along, to get along, because we don't understand the idea of constant performance.
Who is us? See, she's not defining who is we, who is us. And if we want to talk about performance, I'm assuming that's a hair weave she has on. Who is she performing for? I rest my case. I mean, let's get honest here. Okay, I'm positive, 99% positive that's not all her natural hair. So is she performing for someone? And if so, whom? She's sitting there and basically telling an entire race of people, because I'm assuming she's talking about the black race, all right? And for those who can't see me, you've never seen me, okay, I have black skin, all right? So when you sit there and you basically are trying to convince an audience, that entire race, that we are not born to perform. So in other words, we are not born to be as capable, polite, respectful. We are not born to get ahead, to understand the professional world, the corporate world. We weren't born to do that. So if we were not born, I'm assuming the black people, if the black people were not born to perform, what were we born to do? And how is she going to lead us down a better path?
And until you master how to perform all the time, always being on all the time, you are always going to struggle at work. They're always going to single you out. You're always going to seem like an oddball because you're not performing. Not that you're not doing your job. You're not performing humanhood in the way that they are taught and bred to perform humanhood. The issue is usually not professionalism. Everybody comes to work dressed appropriately. We speak appropriately. Emails are kind, direct, efficient, etc. You do well at your job. You don't miss no meetings. You don't miss no deliverables. Everything is fine. But for some reason, these people keep singling you out. It's because you won't ask them about their cat. It's because you won't participate in a water cooler culture. You won't go out with.
I've never been written up or reprimanded because I didn't ask someone about their weekend, because I didn't ask them about their cat, because I didn't stand around the water cooler. Just like the first gal, the plus size gal we just heard from. These are the type of women, I swear to God, get out of bed and the first thing they do is they think to themselves, what sort of racism can I find today? What sort of discrimination in size, height, religion, whatever can I find today? Because that's what I'm going to make what is it? That's what I'm going to stand on. These are the type of women, instead of just going to freaking work and doing a good job, they make sure that they find every little racist detail, real or imagined, because somehow or another it makes them feel better for their shortcomings.